The Iruma-kun manga has just gotten insane. Chapter 365 has finally started to heat things up, as Naberius Narnia makes his move against Iruma and the Long-Ears. So the border control has arrived with Azami leading them. That's right, Kirio's brother. So let's get straight into it. The chapter begins with Henry bursting into Narnia's office, furious with him. Why? Well, remember when Mephisto stated that this mission for Iruma will have a huge effect on the future of the demon world? Well, he wasn't lying, as having the Long-Ears move into independence will be bad for the higher ranks. In the past, the Long-Ears Elder stated that the only use they had was to serve higher ranked demons. This mainly included the 13 crowns. Now, I'm not going to mince my words, Narnia is an absolute wanting to keep them on a leash so that the higher ranked demons can use them for their hearing, for recon, appraisal, and collection. Which means that Narnia definitely expects a war in the future, right? I mean, why else would he go to such extreme lengths to stop them from being independent? If this is true, then it does tie into what Baal wants, a demon world full of chaos. But this decision by Narnia is questionable to say the least, because I don't think he has any idea of who Iruma has on his side. I mentioned last week why all of these guys can't get involved, but he has the likes of Sullivan, Bachiko, Amaryllis, Mephisto, and there's a lot more people that I'm not bringing up here. So I don't know about this. And on top of this, he sent the Fang platoon over there to stop what Iruma and Nova are doing. But to be fair, Narnia does say that if the Many-Ears achieve independence, then other clans will too, since remember that the Many-Ears are a low-ranked clan. So them going off on their own will make others think, why shouldn't we be free too? Are we really just supposed to serve the higher class demons? But this reaction is so extreme from Narnia. Instead of discussing this at all, he tried to nip it in the bud as soon as possible. We can assume he did this because if he didn't do it quickly, the other 13 crowns and of course Henry would object. So he wants to force the Many-Ears into submission before they can do anything. So Iruma's job is going to be stalling. Narnia was already arrogant before he was even a member of the 13 crowns. I mean, at the Draviculum, he was threatening Iruma instantly. He can definitely smell it was him, and he knows he's human. So another reason for this reaction is because he simply hates Iruma. Remember that he said that Iruma is a disgusting and dangerous being to his brother Kalego. And last time at the Draviculum, he was only stopped because the head of Lust, Amaryllis, stepped in. But now he's also a member of the 13 crowns. He doesn't need anyone's permission, not even Henry's. Henry is now his equal. Asking his permission is completely unneeded, so within his own domain, he can do whatever he wants. Which made Henry shiver. This is a man who should have never been allowed this much power. But even if Henry wants to do anything, Narnia has already deployed his squad to the scene, so he won't make it in time. Meaning that, as I already stated, Iruma will have to stall hardcore until Henry is able to revive. Now, as the border control make their way there, the Many-Ears are still practicing magic with Mephisto still on edge with Iruma's plan, that I mentioned in the last week's chapter review. But then the border control does arrive, with yes, Azami leading their forces. And we learn that what Kirio said is very true. His family hates lower ranked demons, treating them like trash. This chapter kinda gives us a small explanation as to why Kirio became so twisted. His own family treated him like garbage his entire life. Now, I do personally believe that he's been corrupted since the day he was born, but still, I think this definitely made it worse. We see this when Azami learns of the Elder's rank being bet. He immediately speaks down to him. We saw something similar when Asmodeus danced with a lower ranked girl, but this is a lot more serious. Nova obviously gets upset with how Azami is treating them and speaks up, only to be crushed. Now, you're probably wondering, what the hell is this power? Well, we can actually decipher what it is. Nova says that his body moved on its own, but we know that his bloodline magic will be the same as Kirio's, meaning that this is technically barrier magic. You may be thinking, how? This doesn't even look remotely similar. Well, Kirio was terrible at using this outside of his one-time usage, where he used years of accumulated magic to lock down Babylos. But the main point is that these are invisible walls. It may not have seemed it in the anime, but it needs to show us it somehow. And this is a power that only the Amy family can deploy. This sounds like a lackluster ability, but Azami shows us what it can do. Kirio can only use it defensively, but we can assume that Azami can use it offensively to crush his opponents. Now, Kirio's was weak because, remember, he basically had zero magical aptitude. He couldn't even hold mana on his own. That's why he had to create a ring like Iruma's. But Amy is the leader of the Fang unit, so his magic has got to be off the charts alongside his rank. So he can deploy these barriers instantly with a lot more thickness and durability due to this. Kirio showed that he can make a maze-like structure and can move the barriers in the process, so Azami can definitely do the same thing, meaning that he could literally crush his opponents to death using using this power. So he has a near unbreakable defense, since remember that no one but Sullivan could crack Kirio's walls at full power, and even when he hadn't built up as much mana, Asmodeus still couldn't do shit with his fire magic. And of course he's a high ranked demon, so he definitely has mastery over many other types of magic. I mean, look at Amory, she was able to boost her speed using non-variable magic, so imagine the level this guy's at. So what I'm getting at here is at this point in the story, Iruma stands zero chance if he was to fight him. So his attitude of thinking he's almighty kinda makes sense, because he pretty much is. Azami thinks he's so above the low rank Nova that he attempts to crush him beneath his foot, but Iruma jumps in and saves him. Yep, just like at the water theme park, Iruma saves Nova using his Ultra Instinct. Okay, we really need to talk about this again. This power of Iruma's is so broken. Broken dodge even higher ranked members of the border control whilst holding someone? Yeah, I assume Azami wasn't going full power, but still. Iruma is obviously pissed at him for pulling this, saying it's beyond cruel. You'd think that seeing a grandson of Sullivan, one of the three greats, would make him hesitate, but it doesn't. After recognizing Iruma, he shows his anger, saying that he knows that Iruma was the instigator, which is true. But he does treat Iruma better than the Longiers, likely because he ranked T, as he apologizes to Iruma but also says he'll fail the Scala exam. This arc has been way too easy so far, so it figures a pothole would appear, as Azami says that they are now forbidden from cultivating the land and producing crops, which obviously includes their ace in the hole, the many-ears carrot, which again we talked about last week. When the many-ears ask why he's doing this, he doesn't even bother giving them an answer. Azami just says that if they do try to question him, he'll just put them in jail. This shows how scummy these guys are. The real reason they're stopping them is because they want the many-ears to simply be puppets they can use. Becoming an actual clan and self-sustaining gets in the way. They don't even want them to rank up, they just want their physical attribute of hearing. So needless to say, they've got to hate the black ears more than anyone. That sounds so racist, but it makes sense, because these guys, including Nova, don't have the power of hearing that the other many-ears have, so they're even more useless. So we'll definitely see not only Iruma standing up for Nova, but the Elder will finally confront a higher ranked demon, not allowing them to treat Nova like this, having faith in his clan like Iruma taught him. Then Iruma finally finds out this guy's identity, and he is shook, so he's definitely going to ask about Kirio, only for Azami to talk shit about him. Iruma for some reason probably still wants to help Kirio, so he'll be pissed about this. My main question though is, what's going to happen with Mephisto? He's just watching all of this go down. Mephisto can't really stop Azami from doing this, even if he is a 13 crown. Remember that this is Narnia's territory, but we also know that he wants Iruma to succeed as he is his kingmaker now, and he's known as Mind Games Mephisto, so he can definitely help Iruma through unique tactics. So unfortunately, we likely won't see an all-out battle or anything, although if that did happen, I wouldn't complain. But this is where the Scala exam has gotten 100 times more difficult. Making changes to the demon world is not easy, and Iruma went above and beyond. Oh god, that. So let me know what you guys think is going to go down in the next chapter, but I'm hyped. And I know I talked about Narnia a bit in this chapter, but this has got me thinking that we're definitely going to see a Narnia versus Calico fight in the end, right? And maybe even Kirio will fight his older brother, who knows? This isn't scripted or anything, I'm just kind of speaking out my ass. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and check out this video on screen right now for more of my content. I am planning to upload a lot more if you haven't actually noticed already, so yeah.